Hey, welcome to Sense, everybody. It's the week ending November 22nd, 2015. I'm your host here, not co-host. Well, I guess that's true also. Brian Gillis. I'm here with
No,
Steve.
you're the host. I don't know what is if we're both leading. Is it?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that we're both leading. It's just that we are both co-hosts.
I think if it was co-host, it'd have to be both of us introducing at the same time. Kind of a back and forth thing.
We've both
Plus,
spoken for
here
about the same amount of time
you're
now.
mainly the one that brings up the news, and I kind of just comment on it as we go.
Maybe one of these weeks as like a switch up, we should do the opposite. You
Uh,
should gather the news. You should do the hunter and gathering.
I think that's inevitably going to happen because you're going to have something going on in real
Like,
life,
no, I'm
and
just gonna
you're
be like,
just going to be like,
fuck the
"Look, if you
news,
want to do
guys.
this, you're just going to have to do it."
Fuck the news. No one cares about my job that no one cares about. Let's start with some prequel, sequel, spin-off stuff.
Don't we
Both,
always?
yeah, but both tied to Vin Diesel. First off, Universal is toying with the idea of Fast and Furious universe building. Apparently, they have spin-offs and prequels in the works. Hopefully that would include a Dom, like just a CIA movie or whatever part of the government works for. It's CIA, right?
Uh, no, it's FBI, isn't it? Or
Whatever it is. He probably
or
has like its own police force now.
no, no. Okay,
Dobbs unit.
Brian O'Connor was FBI, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is Kurt Russell CIA? I can't even remember.
I think Kurt Russell's like his own part of the government. But
Or no, it
anyway,
was DOD, I think.
yeah,
That's
like its own
that's what they
thing.
called it. Yeah.
'Cause that's obviously where the next movie's going. So maybe that's a backdoor pilot for, not pilot, but a backdoor spin-off to whatever his group does. But yeah, they haven't written anything down, but they have these multi-billion dollar earners whenever they release them now. It's only makes sense that they would let them do their own thing within the universe, try to expand it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this is going to work out because we still have to see how it works with Transformers 2. And
Mhm.
please tell me if you're excited about this stuff
I
because,
wouldn't
when
say.
I see headlines and I
Uh-huh.
never read comment boards, but
I
I
read
don't
them
hear any
occasionally.
excitement.
What I do is like I read the replies on certain things just to get just to see if I'm as upset about something as someone else. And like if it's on Slash Film, I used to read the comments a lot. But for something like this, like I think it's a good thing, especially if they just go to TV. Also, I mean, Universal's part of Comcast, so that's the NBC family. There's nothing stopping them from having a 1 hour like romp on TV. That could be really good, especially if they filmed it at Universal Studios, and then like part of the tour is you can
Yeah,
see like the
definitely.
behind the scenes for the Fast and Furious like sitcom or whatever.
I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it's the same case with everything. If it's good, then I'll shut up.
Hmm.
But, it's always joked about, at least when I'm around in the conversation, that Hobbs should get his own
He
spin-off.
should get his fucking spin off.
That's funny, like, as an idea, but it's one of those things where it's kind of brought up as a joke. Like, you can imagine it being awesome, but then the reality of it will happen. It'll just be some pedestrian,
It'd be amazing.
you
Yeah, I
know,
got you.
s- no, not really. Come on. It's like.
Like
It's
when you
like
have
when
a
you walk out of
character.
Grindhouse and you're like, "Oh yeah, a Machete movie. That would be amazing." And then you walk out of there and it's like, "Well, there's some cool stuff. Don't get me wrong, but on the whole, it was kind of all right."
I mean, the first one had the fucking intestine scene coming
I
out the
know that,
window.
and that was
So
amazing. But
yeah,
then what else is there? Come on.
But I thoroughly enjoyed the second one. I thought
Oh yeah,
it was a step in the right direction because it went even crazier with the concept. But yeah, moving on here. Like I said, another Vin Diesel project, Riddick, his baby that he's been working on with David Twohy since what was that 1998 when the first Pitch Black came out?
I think it was 2000.
Was it 2000?
Yeah,
So they did Chronicles of Riddick, then they did that Riddick movie 2 years ago. Their next film, David Chewey's riding right now, is called Furia, and they're also working on a TV spinoff called Merc City. As he usually does, Vin Diesel announced this all on his Facebook. He probably has like one of the most uh, carefully moderated like celebrity Facebook accounts out there.
yeah. Do you follow him?
I don't because whenever he says something important, everyone else on the internet says it. Plus,
That's a good
he
point,
writes like posts all the time, like puts up pictures or like here's a picture of him as Groot or whatever. Like, if I was on Facebook more, it'd probably be cool. Um, but it is nice that he has that connection with his fans. He's really interested about this. We've talked about this before. Just reiterate for our listeners if they give a shit. Chewie went to Long Beach State. He is like one of the first success stories out of our film school. He's
I
like
know. How many do we have other than Spielberg? Like
him,
uh,
um,
Joe Johnston, right?
yeah, Joe Johnston,
Yeah,
and
Mark Steven Johnson.
yeah, and then there's like one or two other people, and then some people that made it in TV. But Joe Johnston, Spielberg, and Chewie are kind of the three big ones.
I love Daredevil, man. I mean, Mark Steven Johnson isn't
Hmm.
bad. I wish he had other stuff, but
Who wrote Pretty Woman?
uh,
'Cause I know he went to our school too.
God, I don't know. That was Gary Marshall, though, wasn't it?
He directed that.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
he
think he
didn't.
wrote it.
I don't know who wrote it.
If we don't know the name ourselves, then it's kind of flaunting at that point. Um,
I'm gonna pull it up
but
right now.
I like the Riddick universe. I hadn't seen, or still haven't seen the most recent one. The Chronicles of Riddick was kind of weird, but altogether, the franchise has made like a lot of money, like $275 million for something that's done a pretty small budget. Plus, there's like those little anime movies, and Vin Diesel has his video game developer that made two different Riddick games, and those are like really acclaimed. So it's something that he's clearly passionate about. It was kind of his real calling before Fast and Furious got its like refueling.
And especially after that last Riddick movie, it's definitely bounced back. I mean, that was actually a pretty fun movie. You should check it out.
Yeah, I want to check it out. Just I never got around to it. I think what I was waiting to do was to rewatch the first two and then see that just kind of get in touch with the character again. Even though they're so different, just tonally. I know the most recent one, Riddick, kind of went back to the original planet and had more to do with the horror elements than just straight up like fantasy action.
By the way, I got the name of that screenwriter. It's J.F. Lawton.
Well, him, I guess.
Yeah, not a big, but also worked on Under Siege.
Cool.
Yeah,
Steven Seagal.
nice.
Moving on, I know you read about this. Everyone fucking read about this. Memento's getting a remake. Like, it's not the worst thing that could happen. We were just talking about it,
Well,
2 weeks
what is
ago.
there to say? It's a joke. I mean,
I know, but I'm just saying we were talking about this
uh,
2 weeks ago on following.
yeah.
Like, you're not the biggest fan of Memento. It does
No,
have its
I'm
flaws.
not.
It's
I'm
not.
But even then, it's definitely a unique beast that still holds up on its own to this day, toe to toe with everything else. Like that movie. I think it's on Netflix right now, or it was.
It probably is. It's on Netflix all the time.
I mean, yeah, you can introduce that movie easily to people, and it would still play.
Well,
So
if I was a kid today, I'd be
why
like, what the
remake
fuck
it?
is that picture? I've never seen a Polaroid before.
Oh,
So
come
maybe
on.
they're gonna make it Snapchat.
I don't know how. I mean,
They're probably just gonna millennialify it, try
Well,
to
you know,
make it approachable to the younger audience. I mean, people that own the rights to that, they're trying to make money. They're doing a lot of things. They also
obviously.
own the rights to Cruel Intentions, and so they're turning that into a TV show. And there's like talk about something else. So
Well, I mean, here's the thing though with Memento is that, and this idea was passed around, and I would be fine with it because if it was made into a TV show instead, that could be interesting because
yeah,
people
but
have,
they're not doing that. That's why they're doing Cruel Intentions instead.
I don't know. This news is a joke. I can't take it seriously. I mean, it's got nothing to do with me
Well, I mean,
not liking the movie that much. It's just,
the Secret in
it
Our
is so
Eyes
soon too.
just came out. So
Okay, yeah, but it's not a foreign. Memento's not a foreign
Well,
film.
Well, Memento's also not an Oscar winner.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's easy to get used to seeing a great foreign film and having it be remade. And there's good examples of that. Let Me In was a really good one.
I didn't catch it. I like the
I
original
honestly,
too much.
I like it better than the original. The original's great. It's probably the better movie, but it's just that Spielberg vibe that the U.S. version has that I really, really clicked with.
Was that a bad robot production?
No, I don't think so, but it was Matt Reeves.
Yeah, I
though.
know it was Matt Reeves. Yeah, it was like his first big directing gig after Cloverfield.
Yeah, and I mean it's especially if you liked Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, that really between those two films, it really shows just what his style is like without
the
found footage behind
footage.
it. Yeah, because I mean it's very similar in tone, and I really really dug that. Let me in. I love that that he brought that back with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Moving on, this is kind of our last big news item here to start off the show. Really interesting. There's a Kickstarter that went live this past week called Figment VR. It's a phone case prototype where the back, like you flip a switch and then a hinge pops out, and then you have a VR faceplate basically for your phone. Like it swivels around, so it has a little lenses, so it creates a three-dimensional image, and that way, wherever your phone is, you'd be able to enjoy VR content, and it's like blends seamlessly as a case on the back. So right, it's gonna launch with iPhone like 6 and 6S Plus. That's what it's geared for, but they're not opposed to Android. They're just figuring out which models they'd be supporting. And it's pretty cheap right now. Like if you support the project, I think you pay $50 and you get your own version. And then they're thinking when it hits the market, it's probably gonna be closer to 90.
Do they have an ETA on when this is going to hit?
No, I mean it's still Kickstarter, so it's really.
Yeah. What's their target?
I'm not sure. I'm not. I know it. Like I saw video of the product itself. Like it looks really nice. Like it really blends with Apple's design language, like steel and no plastic, and there's something like 96 joints or something. Like you can tell that they spent a lot of time on this project. But it's a really cool concept, especially because Samsung's Gear, it finally went to market. Like the consumer version is out right now. It costs $100, and all you need is one of their latest flagship phones, and it works seamlessly. Just put it in the back, and it works. The idea here, though, is most VR headsets, it cuts off your peripheral vision. You're like in a black mask, you know. This thing, like you could put your hand between the screen and your phone, and so instead of having to use some clunky user interface on the side, like the Gear VR has buttons, like tactile buttons that you use. This you can actually still touch the touchscreen itself, so it's geared more towards gaming. But you know, we talked about this last week. YouTube has VR and 3D content already, so this would be really cool, especially if you're at your parents' house and you want to show it off to them. So maybe, you know, we'll even get a VR phone in the not too distant future. Once upon a time when 3D was big, we had the HTC Evo 3D that had 2 cameras on the back and you could watch 3D content on it. I wonder why that never took off.
Man,
but it was a cool concept when it launched.
Dude, holograms are coming. That's all I have to say about that. It really never ceases to amaze me every time.
I mean,
that
they're already
out,
here.
man.
Like you know what Simone is, right? Like we've talked about that before.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's
like that's real. Like obviously, you know. Oh yeah, there was the Tupac thing, and there was.
It'll be an
hologram.
everyday thing though.
But
pretty soon, like everyone will have it. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I mean, that's insane.
I think it's Japan's biggest digital diva is doing a world tour right now. It's just a hologram. That's it. There is no real singer. It's all digital.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm both amazed and frightened. Honestly.
Check out that movie. It's pretty interesting, especially like in today's technological ways. Like it did predict where things could go. So yeah, into directing news. Let me try to say his name correctly. Robert
Is it
Rodriguez.
really that difficult to say Rodriguez?
No, I messed up on Robert. I try to speak way too fast.
2 very common names.
Okay. Robert Rodriguez and John Malkovich made a film for
that one's a bit more difficult.
Louis XIII Cognac. It's, you know, just product placement basically. It's called 100 Years, and it's not going to be viewable until 100 years from now. And the idea here is that the cognac is aged for 100 years, so that's how long it's going to take. And it deals with, like, different views of the future and what it can hold, or who knows. Like, no one knows. Like, it's going to be a mystery.
No one's going to see it.
I don't know about that. I mean, think about how many people out there are alive right now that are 100 years old. And the technology we're going to have is going to be, medical advances are going to be even better for us than they were for them. Because, I mean, they're working on 3D printing hearts now, so just hope it's not a piece of shit. Well, it's probably placement, so.
Well, you know, it's funny. I guess the joke that you can make is that if we do get progressively dumber and the world ends up being like Idiocracy, then this movie will come out and everyone will just praise it as genius.
It might be genius.
Like, right away. You know, it could be. I don't know. It could be his greatest achievement ever.
Yeah.
No, but I mean that idiot's it's insane, but it's really cool. You know, even if we don't ever see it, I mean, I don't foresee that I will live that long to ever see it. I don't know. Maybe if best shot I probably have of ever watching it is if I became friends with Robert Rodriguez and he showed it to me at his house.
Probably wouldn't be able to show it to you. He'd probably like sign some kind of contract. I think they actually put the finished film in a time capsule.
I'm pretty sure he might show it to some people at least. I mean, it's not like you can just I don't know, leave it stored away for that long, you think? Or
I think so. I mean, it depends how much money you got paid. Maybe you got paid in only cognac.
there's not much to say because just I'm really curious to know what this is.
Like,
Even
you can
especially
read the
the appeal is
synopsis
that.
online, like I
Oh no,
said.
I can read it, but
Yeah.
you won't really know until you see the product for itself, and it's knowing that I will never see it it's kind of a wasted time to think about it. But I don't know, I can't help but be curious about it.
We'll just wait 100 years. You'll find
You
out.
think maybe I can cryogenically freeze myself?
Yeah, you and Walt Disney will come out at the same time watching this thing.
Oh hell yeah!
Other directors making moves. Edgar Wright signed with DreamWorks to co-write and direct a flick about shadows. There's no real info here. Apparently, about 4 years ago, DreamWorks announced that they were working on something about like how shadows work in kids and something like that. Very vague, and they're retooling that now under Wright's like direction to figure out something different. But just from a concept, it sounds really good, especially DreamWorks, like what they can do with technology to make shadows come to life, or just like really cool Lightroom type stuff. That'd be nice.
Well, it's also knowing what Edgar Wright's style is
Hmm.
and putting that to animation. That's a cool idea in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean
Yes,
he.
especially someone who's just so detailed oriented like him.
I mean, Fistful of Fingers just had its U.S. premiere last night at CineFamily, and that like everyone on the internet was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
this is only made for $10,000 or whatever,
No,
16,
they
I think."
genuinely flip for it too. Because I mean, from everywhere else, I've heard like, oh, it's rough and don't expect it to be great. But I don't know, my Twitter stream
Yeah,
just kind of exploded with greatness.
yeah.
Which
I mean, it
yeah,
didn't
was
help that
surprising.
he was retweeting a lot of the praise himself, but I want to see it. I mean, I know
Oh
it's a
yeah,
spaghetti western that takes place in the UK. More director stuff slash production news. Christopher McQuarrie is returned to write and possibly direct Mission Impossible 6.
yeah.
We both kind of fell asleep before we on that one, or missed a thing or two. But everyone
Yeah, the
agreed
movie
that it
where he
was
holds his breath underwater
yeah,
for 6 minutes,
yeah,
where he
not that
hangs
exciting.
onto a jet, where it takes off.
Yeah,
That a movie that had a really cool motorcycle chase, and we just kind of thought it was okay.
and the
I mean,
Opera House.
oh yeah, fuck
And the
yeah. I
Opera
mean,
House, oh yeah, and the
yeah,
motorcycle scene was badass. But yeah, a lot of people agreed it was the best one in quite some time. Even though Ghost Protocol was just the other year, and that was good.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean, nothing against Christopher McQuarrie. I hope he doesn't direct. Just because I really like that every Mission Impossible movie has been very, very distinctive from the other one, and part of that is because there's been different directors attached every time, and they've all brought their own sensibilities to it. So
who did number 3? Is it JJ?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
that was my favorite one.
So I know it's you got JJ, you got fucking De Palma,
You got John Woo,
yeah, John Woo, and
not
then
not the best
Bradford,
John Woo, but yeah.
McQuarrie.
I mean, it'd be nice to just get some new blood to go into that franchise. I mean, I think I saw on a short list one time of people that would make great directors for a Mission Impossible movie, and Edgar Wright.
Oh,
Made that. I think
definitely. I mean,
yeah,
that's
Slash Film put
he
that out. Just
he already tried Ant-Man, and that didn't work for him. So
yeah, I mean, if you get like just a nice. I don't know, like someone that probably has yet to prove themselves, that is not being recruited by the Marvel machine yet to have their first breakout big budget film. That would be cool.
speaking of Ant-Man, it's on home video now. You guys should go out there if you haven't seen it when it was in theaters. You should definitely check it out. Really fun. We're gonna be talking about Marvel a little bit later in the show, but very solid. Really fun heist flick with a lot of gags, a lot of humor throughout. A couple of more things here, of course, about directors and whatnot. Kenneth Branagh, he's going to be starring and directing Fox's Murder on the Orient Express, so he's going to be the new Hercule Poirot. I'm okay with that. I like that. He does have a very good Victorian sensibility. He's great at climactic stuff and kind of like really bring this oeuvre of like mystery to his projects. Even like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and his weirder stuff before Thor, but I'm okay with that. Like,
I mean, absolutely.
hopefully
I
that
mean,
means this new one's good.
I think it's especially for the murder mystery. He can get. I think just every time that Kenneth Branagh gets his name is dropped in conversation, great performances is the first thing I think of because, first of all, he is a great actor, but
Hmm.
you know he's also an actor's director, and even for something as like silly as Thor, I don't know if you've ever looked into this stuff because I have the Blu-ray and I actually did look into the bonus features and there's those featurettes in there of like, oh, blah blah blah. He's so great to work with. He's so detail oriented. But when you listen to the guy speak, like through audio commentary of just how much thought he puts into it, like it's really amazing. Just his insight, like
Did he
it's
direct Wild Wild West?
Wild Wild West.
Yeah, he's in that. He's the villain.
Oh no, that's the Men in Black guy that did that. Um, I forgot about that.
I mean, it seems like something you would
Right.
make too.
It's funny you bring that up, and every time I hear Wild Wild West, I keep thinking of
Kevin
that Kevin
Smith and the
Smith
metal
speech, of, like, and
spider.
then all of a sudden, there's a giant fucking spider in there.
I mean, like,
No, but I mean, with Kenneth Branagh, I could keep going on about how even in Jack Reacher, just him as the villain, like he was fucking insanely intimidating in that, and even though that movie was underwhelming, so
okay, he wasn't the real villain in that movie.
no, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just that cold stare that I mean, that's what I remember out of that movie, and
You know,
just,
like,
he
yeah,
really
I think
fucking
you're
killed
confused. That's not Kenneth Branagh. That you're thinking of.
it. The Russian and Jack Ryan, or no, did I say Jack Reacher?
Yeah.
I meant Jack Ryan. Yeah.
See, I didn't see that.
Okay, yeah.
Is it,
No,
Jack Reacher's a different
Werner
director.
Herzog,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean he kills it in Jack Ryan. It's a forgettable movie, but I think that's. I'm kind of getting off topic, but yeah. Anyway, that's something I think he'll bring to it for sure.
Okay.
That I will appreciate when it comes out.
I don't know why I put this at this position. It should have been higher on the list, I guess. Richard Linklater's baseball comedy, coming of age, whatever you want to call it, is opening South by Southwest this year. It's now titled Everybody Wants Some. So everyone's
Van Halen?
gonna. Huh?
They better have Van Halen playing, yeah.
Yay. I mean, I doubt it's gonna be bad. It's just, it seems like a safe bet letting that open the festival that he kind of put on the map in the first place.
No, I mean it's very fitting, and dude, it's Linklater. Like,
Yeah.
Anything he does, I will watch.
I've seen everything he's done, and it's not always good. Like,
No, it's not-
Avoid
it's not
the
always
Newton
good.
Boys, not a good movie.
It's not always good, but I don't know. He has such a very cool, like, just laid back style that it just comes through in all his films. I mean, he just seems like that type of guy, and he always makes great hangout movies. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Just movies that are not necessarily, they're not always about plot all the time, but they're just about characters that's just cool to hang out with them. I mean, Before Sunrise, that's one of your favorite movies, right? I mean,
Yeah.
especially with that trilogy and Boyhood, and I love Dazed and Confused. Like
Fucking School of Rock,
it's always it's always
Bad
just,
News Bears.
it's always just a good time and cool characters to hang out with. So I'm hoping it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you
So
go
it's
back
finally
to
coming.
Texas, maybe you could try to score a ticket.
I am going back, sir.
Well, there you go. You try to sell your kidney for a ticket or something.
No, I don't have to sell it. I'll get it. Don't you worry.
Okay. More director news. Last one I got right here. Casey Affleck is set to direct his brother-in-law Joaquin Phoenix in Far Bright Star. It's a western. It's the first collaboration since I'm Still Here.
Did you see
Yay.
that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I had to see it.
I don't,
After the Letterman interview, like,
the thing at the Oscars.
wasn't it like required watching? And then you watch the thing, and then both of those things are in the documentary, or like if you can even call it that.
I don't know. The moment that I heard he was trolling, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. And I
Like
didn't even bother.
his performance is really good in the movie, and obviously like he really got into it for like a year and a half, 2 years. But it's totally worth watching for his rap music in the movie. I think he was like signed to P Diddy's label for like $1 million too, or something like.
Like, was P Diddy in on it?
I don't know. I've read stuff where people are saying like, oh, everyone was in on the joke. They knew it. Like, obviously Casey Affleck knew it, and Joaquin Phoenix, and like a whole bunch of other people. Like, and I've read stuff where it says like Letterman like scripted or like rehearsed that thing with Joaquin, and then I've read stuff where it was like totally just happening.
Honestly, I'd be more curious to see if there's any behind the scenes of that where they're actually filming a scene.
The documentary
where
behind the
people- yeah,
documentary.
where people don't know what's going on. and then when they walk away, they just laugh about it and make jokes.
I hope there's a documentary that comes out about it, like behind the scenes footage, because I doubt there's
That'd be way too
home.
meta.
No, I doubt there's a home video release though that has any special features like that, because the whole idea of the movie itself.
I don't know.
It's
Anyway,
it's
a
one of those-
western.
it's one of those things that probably won't work.
Yeah,
Yeah, western.
a western. That sounds nice.
Yeah,
Could be cool.
maybe.
Yeah.
Here, I got some Hasbro Lionsgate news here. Lionsgate is teaming with Hasbro's AllSpark Pictures, which you haven't heard of, is like their own production wing. They're making a My Little Pony flick. It's coming out November 3rd, 2017 against Thor Ragnarok. Yay. That's probably going to make a lot of money. I don't know if it's live action. I doubt it. That doesn't make sense. But I guarantee that's going to make a lot of money in 2 years.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just wondering from which crowd it's going to be from.
I don't know.
We all know that. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be from the Bronies or like. Do the kids outnumber the Bronies?
I doubt it. Because there's
That'll be-
bronies out there that have been a fan since, the 80s, since the original iteration, and then,
It goes that
now
far back?
with Friendship is Magic, like, they're a lot bigger.
Damn.
There's
Uh,
there's like
it'll be
3
interesting to see what the
different
percentage
brony
is on that.
documentaries out there. I've seen one. But Hasbro is also doing another thing. They're trying to do a writer's room for G.I. Joe currently also. So they're trying to revitalize that franchise, and I'm a fan of that. I really like the first one. The second one was but John M. Chu did that one. The first one was Stephen Sommers behind the Mummy movies. So
And Van Helsing.
who knows who's doing the next one? Hopefully they can figure it out.
No, they're going to do a crossover with Transformers too.
They
eventually.
better.
I mean, it's
They
Akiva
better.
Goldsman.
Think
that I
about
think
it.
is
You
leading
could have
it.
The Rock hanging out with Mark Wahlberg and Optimus
no-
Prime.
No, I'm saying I think it's gonna happen.
Hope they bring Channing Tatum back to life. That'd be cool too. Maybe there's like a
Use
gem in
what
the
is it,
holograms,
Matrix
like
or whatnot.
cameo.
Oh God, did you see that?
No, I want
No,
to.
no, you're right. You didn't.
I want to. It can't be that
Yeah,
bad. I
but-
think just people weren't expecting a 2-hour movie, and I think most of the people that actually first off, they didn't advertise that it was a Hasbro movie. There was like very, very small percentage of the internet even aware that it was a 80s cartoon / toy line.
Yeah, all I saw from that trailer was I never got the sense that it was based off a Hasbro property, except for probably like 3 seconds of it, and it's just like, oh, there's this robot here too.
Yeah, it's like because apparently, she's a international pop star or whatever who like
Yeah, it's a rise off
transition-
social media.
Yeah,
thing,
and then
which
she like
you can make
transitioned
an
overnight,
interesting-
and
you
then
make an interesting story out of that, and then
there's like
you just
also
throw this
espionage
robot
and
in, yeah.
people trying to attack them, and they have to fight back or whatever. Fucking Molly Ringwald's in it. How did it make money? Anyway, it's already out of theaters too, so
I don't think anyone knew when it came out. Like,
Just bad
I think when you
advertising.
told me, yeah, like the release date.
Yeah, they didn't know it. They
yeah,
didn't know
the
fucking
weekend that it
anything.
came out, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the more production side of things here. Warner Brothers is trying to finally perfect their Logan's Run remake. Now they're looking to make it into a series like The Hunger Games about young adults for young adults. The original movie and the novel, at a farther extent, was about in the civilization. Once you hit 30, they fucking kill you or they kick you out. Now the age cutoff is 21, which is fucking ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the idea. They're trying to, take a page from Lionsgate's book, so maybe it'll work. I'm sure.
Well, it might not be that big anymore. I mean, if you saw the opening weekend numbers for Hunger Games over the weekend, it went just over 100 mil, which is still great. But
I mean, it's early. Thanksgiving, is gonna make a lot more money.
no, it's the same weekend though that it's been for the past
No,
couple
I'm
of
just
years.
saying though, like
they've
these
owned that
movies
weekend.
usually have legs for a week or two. So
No, they do, but I'm just saying for what it is, for that franchise, it's a disappointment. And you consider that I think it's just a short 2-hour runtime. I think it's the shortest one yet, honestly. And, considering that they can get more screenings out of that runtime, it's definitely a disappointment.
I didn't see Mockingjay Part 1, but I know the series got, progressively darker with each installment. And maybe the viewers just kind of got over how abysmal and dark the movies were, so...
Well, not only that, but it was a lack of payoff with Mockingjay. It was
Oh
all
yeah,
just
I know. It's just
it's
set
really
up for
just
this
set up,
one.
yeah.
Setting up the
And
war
then you
or
kind of
whatever
just
on the
yeah.
Capitol.
Although I still want to see the next one.
No, well, I
When
mean,
I get
Epix
back, I hear
has
it's
part
dark.
one, so I do want to see that before they take it off, and probably see this whenever it happens, probably a year from now on Epix. Um, a couple more things here before we get into the TV side of things. Actually, a lot more. Brett Ratner's Rat Pack might produce a biopic about the creation of Tetris. There's supposedly like a real gritty behind the scenes thing there. Kind of like, did you see that Flash of Genius movie with Greg Kinnear? Or you
Yeah.
heard of it? About like he.
No, I've seen it.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna be similar to that apparently. Tetris is one of the most beloved video games on the planet. It's been around since the early '80s. It's like the reason why the Game Boy sold millions of units. Yay, I guess.
Back in that day. I mean, if the story is interesting, then absolutely, because I don't know it. I mean,
I know
that makes
the
more sense to pitch it
creator
that way.
The developer, I can't remember his name, was like Sergey something. He was Russian. I don't think he got money from the rights for creating the game until like 1994 or something like that. So like it took him almost 15 years to start making money off of his creation. So that's probably like I said,
So it
Flash
could
of
be like a
Genius.
social network type scenario.
Yeah, I think that's the angle they're going for.
I mean, yeah, that could be interesting because I mean, Tetris. It sounds like a joke, but people said the same thing about Social Network. Oh, a Facebook movie? What's that going to be like?
Yeah, I still remember that.
Yeah.
I made those jokes. Everyone fucking made those jokes.
I didn't. It was David Fincher. I was on board.
I mean, and then a couple years after that, they started making a Google movie, and then we laughed at that for the right reason, like
What Google movie?
the interns or internship.
Okay, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
No,
that's
Google.
for the right reason.
Google was like part of the development process on that, and they had like full access, and they actually filmed
Yeah, it was
at
product
the,
placement.
Yeah,
for
they
Google,
actually
yeah.
filmed at the Googleplex, and they had like, I didn't see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if like Sergey Brin had a cameo. I don't know. I avoided it on purpose.
Yeah, I didn't think it looked funny either.
Another
Apparently, it wasn't.
another biopic here. That Freddie Mercury one that people have been talking about for like 5 years now. Like I remember they were saying that Sacha Baron Cohen would be starring in it. They've snagged the writer of Theory of Everything, so that's some kind of progression.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe they'll actually get a script, or maybe I'm sure there is a script out there, but they're gonna try to tweak it to make it more interesting. I don't know. Well, I'm not sure how big of a person Freddie Mercury is anymore. Like I know Queen still gets a good amount, probably music plays on iTunes or whatever, but I don't know how many people are actually interested in the man behind the words. But we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know much about the man. I mean, he was gay, right?
Yeah, he died of AIDS.
Yes, I mean that could be, given where we are today, like yeah, that could absolutely be relevant.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It really depends. It's from the. Well, I don't know. Biopics in general. Like, when have we ever really needed one?
Oh, Theory of Everything was pretty good. I mean,
Oh yeah, you thought so. That's right.
I thought so. Yeah, I mean,
I was
it
not a
was
fan.
Oscar bait and like a Hallmark movie almost, but
Yeah, it was so bad. It
I liked it.
was so embarrassing.
It was because it threw me for a loop. I didn't know it was like a full-on biopic. I thought it was just young, like young pre Lou Gehrig's disease and just like the romance. And they were like, oh no, it's this whole thing.
It was a great physical performance, but there was such really bad melodrama in there. It's standard cookie cutter biopic.
I mean, they kind of had to make it melodramatic, though.
Well, yeah, but that's what happens when you like try to chronicle someone's entire life instead of doing it about a brief period.
See, that's like it confused me. Like I thought it was I thought it was just the college days because that's how the trailers like promoted it. They just
I
showed
wish
the
it
romance.
was. That could have been more interesting.
I still thought it was fairly interesting. Casting / a little bit of production news as well. Val Kilmer is apparently already signed on to return as Iceman in Top Gun 2. He said it on Facebook. It was a little confusing. He was like, there's a couple things in life you just say yes to. Like Top Gun sequel without a script, yes. A Coppola movie, yes. Something, yes. And then so the internet thought he meant that Coppola was directing this and so and whatever. and he had to like fix that, like his wording was kind of off. But I'm all for this. I mean, they've already said that the only well, first off, Tony Scott's are dead, so they're gonna have to get someone
I
else.
know. Yeah, I really want to know who they're gonna get. But I
Yeah,
mean, also, Tom Cruise had a point, which is like, yeah, they're not doing this.
without me.
No, they're not gonna do this if they have to resort to CGI. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about Top Gun is like you watch those aerial shots, like they are fucking incredible to this day.
I
I
know
mean,
Jerry Bruckheimer said multiple times now that he's not going forward with production unless Tom Cruise is signed on. And the way that Tom Cruise's career is going, the way he's kind of doing older stuff or, amping up doing more Mission Impossible stuff, I'm
he
pretty
has
sure
a
he
lot of
would come
clout. I
back.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if he can help get something like Oblivion or Edge of Tomorrow made, like he's
hmm
got a lot of power right now behind Hollywood.
People still like him running and from explosions and stuff, so.
Yeah,
I think like the concept right now floating around for this sequel is the military's trying to make AI planes kind of like stealth, okay? And so Iceman and Maverick come out of the woodwork and like, you don't understand. Humans can still fly better than the machines. We can outfly those drones that
so it's
show
basically a
you,
remake of Stealth.
except better, because I don't think it would. I'm pretty sure they would remove the whole Ghost in the Machine AI got. Well, I remember, didn't it get hit by lightning
Yeah,
and then it went rogue?
and then it became evil. Yeah,
And then there was that scene where like Jessica Biel was flying the stealth plane from inside the plane or something stupid. Who knows? I that was like the end of Josh Lucas's career too.
I remember that was a movie that I saw with my dad because he likes
So
planes and stuff,
bad.
and
That's such a bad
he
Sony
would
movie.
he would rarely complain about movies, but when we walk out of that, his first thing he said was, "The border to North Korea isn't like that. It's more heavily guarded than that."
Like I was my
One
friend
of the
was
few
over
times
earlier.
he bitched about something.
A friend was over earlier, and like he saw Spectre, and so he was like, "Oh, it sucked, whatever. It was too long. They tried to put so much story into it. I didn't like it." And I was like, "Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what most
most
people
people
say."
did. Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "It was so bad." And then I was like, "Did you?" And then for somehow Fantastic Four came up. And I was like, "Oh, did you see that?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That." I was like, I just flat out said, "I was like, that's the worst movie I've ever seen in theaters." Or at least one of them, and he was like, "No, it wasn't that bad." I was like, "Yeah, it was." He was like, "Well, I didn't see it in theaters." I was like, "Okay, well, what's your worst then?" And he couldn't come up with one. So since I brought this up, what's the worst movie that
I
you've
was
seen?
kind to Fantastic
Yes, you
Four.
were for
You
some
remember that?
awful reason.
But no, it was worse than Spectre, like easily. Like that movie it's a mess. It's a
Oh no,
total
that's
failure
not what I'm saying. I'm saying what's the worst movie you've seen in theaters
ever in my life.
that you can think of? Yeah, off the top of your head.
Love
right now.
Guru.
What?
Love Guru.
Love Guru? Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I was smarter than that.
Yeah, well, no, I got it for free. But
Even still.
yeah, no, also, there was a lot of stuff that year too. We talked about it last week, The Mummy 3.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's more redeemable than Fantastic Four, though.
No, not
To
at all.
me,
I mean,
yeah, because I
well,
actually
I
had
think
I had a little bit of fun there. Because I mean, you gotta remember, it's Brendan Fraser's like big return to the screen. He'd been absent for a good number of years. Like, oh yeah, like he had that little part in Crash as the mayor of LA, but like for the most part, like he was gone, and so I liked seeing him on the big screen again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when it comes to Fantastic Four, it was not plot, it wasn't story or characters, it was just tone and the scientific ideas behind it, just the theory of
We're drunk.
interdimensional
Let's
travel.
go to this
like,
international space, guys.
and that too. So I mean, that's
Fuck Lance
that's what
Armstrong.
that's what fascinated me. That's what kept me engaged with it. But that's it, So.
I
Compared
just
to Mummy
remember,
3,
like,
there were what, like there were Yetis and oh my god.
This is the thing that I'll never forget about Fantastic Four. They show all these blueprints, right? It's like Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Miles Teller is trying to make this suit, okay? And they show him like making sketches and buying shit from this guy in Nicaragua, I think it was, and like he speaks Spanish now. And then like they show him in his suit, and he doesn't do a damn thing with it. There's no explanation. He's just like he's wearing this weird looking suit now, and he has like the scruff. And then he gets back in the lab, and like they never bring it up. They don't say like, "Oh, what's up with your suit?" Like nothing. They're just like, "Yeah, help us save the universe now."
You know, the best thing I will remember from that screening is when Tim Blake Nelson's head explodes, and my friend who was watching it with me just right away went, "Cool!" Like just
It
out
wasn't
loud,
as good
just
as
shouted out.
Scanners. It wasn't
I mean,
visceral
I'm,
on the
I'm I'm
screen.
sure it wasn't, but for a Fantastic Four movie, you know, for a PG-13 comic book movie, I did not see that coming, and I still think that was fucked up. Like I reacted to it just it was crazy just to think like there are going to be kids seeing this movie in theaters this weekend. This is going to fuck them up.
Yeah,
How
like
did this get a PG-13? Because it was brutal,
the way I
but it was
explained,
amazing how violent it was.
the way I explained Roadhouse last week with, oh, and then this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and then he rips some guy's throat out. That's how you explain Scanners, because that movie is very boring. I mean, it's a Cronenberg movie. It's from his early days. Like, they're very like, bad acting, weird story, hard to follow premise, really. But then it's like, well, there's Michael Ironside in it, and he's a badass. And at the climax, he makes some guy's head explode, and it looks amazing.
I still need to see it. I wish I did not hear that, but
Everyone, you've never seen the GIFs or the videos or YouTube?
I probably have. I don't know it. I'm sure that when I see Scanners, I'll
Like,
be like, oh, so
like,
that's what that was.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, oh, that's what that was. Definitely, like, it is one of those movies, 100%.
Yeah, but Fantastic Four is really cool exploding heads. That's that film's legacy, I guess.
Anyway, so yeah, some casting slash like more production stuff. T.J. Miller, he's got a cousin apparently, and they're writing an action comedy called The Ex-Criminals. It's already been picked up by DreamWorks. It's looking to be a vehicle for Miller about two successful crooks who are breaking up after their biggest heights to date. I'm sure it's gonna be funny. That's kind of what he's known for. You know, he's on Silicon Valley. He had that bit part in the most recent Transformers movie. He does some voice acting stuff. He's on TV a little bit.
He makes the avocado joke in Deadpool.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be
Yeah.
fucking hilarious in Deadpool.
I've never laughed or found him really to be that funny.
It depends what he's doing.
Except for Get Him to the Greek. But that's because I love Get Him to the Greek.
His
I mean,
literal 3 minutes in that movie, 2 minutes.
something about his humor, like especially because I think the last thing I saw him in was Transformers. Or wait, no, actually, no. There was a voice role in Big Hero 6, which
Yeah.
I don't know. He just annoyed the crap out
I
of me.
loved him in that
Like,
movie. I think he's good in the How to Train Your Dragon movies.
I can see that he's supposed to be funny, but I'm just not laughing. I mean, even in Cloverfield, he's the most obnoxious
No,
part.
he's
but I can
horrible in
accept that.
Cloverfield.
Yeah, I can accept that though because
You have to
he's
hear his
supposed to be
voice
that guy
nonstop.
that's-
He's the fucking cameraman. Like you
Yeah,
can't get away
I don't
from
know.
him.
Somehow I'm able to tune it out when it comes to Cloverfield, but I don't. Hey, good for him. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I laugh at
Hopefully
what
it's
he
good.
does. Yeah, I
Last,
still need to see Silicon Valley. I'm actually planning on getting to that soon.
do it. Like I really like it. I don't like. You got to be a little nerdy. You got to be into tech for it to make more sense than it does.
Yeah, I'm not a
Um,
Mike Judge fan either, though, so it has that against it. But I will give it a fair shot.
Last bit of movie news I got here. Alexandra Daddario, who we've talked about a good amount this year, is hitting the beach with Zac Efron on The Rock. She's going to be in Baywatch. She's going to be the female lead, which means the romantic lead, I'm assuming. Her and Zac Efron are probably going to have a sex scene. Remember, this is
And The Rock is going to stand in between them.
Sure, he's like, I was your father a couple months ago in a movie about an earthquake, but now, dang girl, you got a banging body. Or something like that.
That's exactly what it needs
Could
to
be good. I mean, I never watched an episode of Baywatch, so
No,
I
but
know the premise. They were lifeguards in California,
you said Alexandra Daddario on the beach. That's enough for me.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you. So moving
We
to
don't need to.
yeah, moving to
say much more.
TV. HBO's signed a deal with Nick Pizzolatto. That's a hard name. Pizzolatto, the showrunner slash writer on True Detective. It's an overall deal through 2018, which might include the still unordered third season of True Detective. So who knows? Maybe there's going to be a made-for-TV movie in there or a new project, a new show he's working on. So that's cool. I mean, he already had a deal for the last 2 years after like the pilot for True Detective happened. So hopefully they get more out of it this time than last time because, you know, most people did not like the second season of True Detective. I'm kind of part of that. Really good character studies like Vince Vaughn and and fucking damn.
Rachel McAdams.
No, not Rachel McAdams. She was weird in it. Fuck, not fucking Deadpool. Bullseye. Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, yeah.
Yeah, Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn really good in it, and their chemistry together too. Plus Vince Vaughn's like wife on the show, really good. But the story itself, yeah, fucking confusing. Not like the first season, just yeah.
I would argue even I still don't have the second season to compare it to, but the first season did not have an interesting mystery at all whatsoever.
Well, there's even less of a mystery in the second season.
But are the characters still interesting?
Yeah, no, the characters are really interesting.
Well, then there you go. Because that's like all the first season has going for it. I feel.
You see, but there's more characters in the second one, which it makes it because there's 3 central characters than what's going on in their lives instead of just the 2.
Yeah, up the scale.
So a couple more things here. Well, actually, one last thing here for TV news. Sci-Fi Channel has ordered 2 6-episode seasons for a new show called Channel Zero from Max Landis and Antos. What's his first name? I just have his last name here. Antosca, the guy who wrote Hannibal and he works on Teen Wolf. So it's gonna.
I have no idea.
Yeah, the name threw me for a loop, but yeah, Max Landis. And so the way it's gonna work is it's gonna be just like 6 episodes to tell a story, and then another 6 episodes. The first season is gonna be based on a creepypasta story called Candle Cove, which is like about a kid's TV show or something. It's like the most famous creepypasta story on the internet. I've never read. Creepypasta is not my thing, but I know he was like. Max Landis was like super excited on Twitter and like tweeting a whole bunch and writing some weird ass shit. And that's kind of what he does on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
But very cool. Like not only did he get the first season ordered, but he got both seasons. How do you get the 2 seasons for a show ordered before the pilot's even out?
I don't know, talent.
Or fucking Right Chronicle, I guess.
He's got how many scripts this year that have been picked up? Like
3
there's the
are
Victor
already.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Victor Frankenstein's coming out this Friday. Actually, he did obviously American Ultra, and then Mr. Right premieres at TIFF, or already premiered at TIFF. So he had 3 movies hit the screen this year, and who knows when Mr. Right's gonna get a release? Probably next year.
I mean, you told me that he's got like. I don't know, 75 scripts written or stuff. He's got
more than that.
Even,
yeah.
I don't know, some fan fiction stuff maybe put up. Like, I mean, the dude can write in a and hit a deadline on time. Like,
it's not even deadlines. Like as a kid, he would just like his
hobby.
It's not even a hobby. It's like it's not even a passion. It's like something that he's obsessed with. Like he'll as a kid, like 13, 12, he would just start writing a concept and he wouldn't stop, literally nonstop until he wrote one. Like he would like he's known for pushing a script out in like 5 days, 6 days.
Damn, man. I mean, yeah, I'm jealous.
I mean, it must be nice. I mean, obviously his success isn't based off of his father's success, but it's gotta be nice, writing these stupid stories as a kid and your father, who's known for making big, like fairly big budget, successful movies, going, yeah, this is actually pretty good.
Your dad made Animal House too.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like.
It's like, what validation do you need?
You turn to your father, and it just so happens to be that guy. He's like, yeah, this is actually good. Keep it up. Like, if that happened to me, I'm like, yeah. Just lucky kid who's making, moves in Hollywood now. So I got a couple of, just 3 things here on the internet side of things before we jump into the reviews. Amazon announced that they're expanding their screenwriting program. I don't know if you know about this. But they have.
I downloaded it actually.
Oh, the new one?
The app, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they are trying to get their next projects through actual internet randoms, kind of avoiding like reworking how Hollywood works. And so the new app that they have, it's a script editor that formats for you, so it's geared at people that just have a story but they don't know how to format or do the syntax for a screenplay. It's not a problem for you and I. But for the people that they're aiming at, it totally is. And so they also announced that they're going to start accepting drama screenplays as well, because up until now it's only been comedies. I think like it's split between like comedy features, sitcoms, and 1-hour drama shows. Mm-hmm. And now they're also going to accept drama films. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm.
Can't wait until they actually announce their first user submitted screenplay.
Yeah, well, here's hoping, right?
Yeah. If I don't need an agent, I got Amazon. Um, uh, and
Then again, though, I mean, here's the deal with that. Is like, how is that going to work, and how are you going to be
I
able to make deals
yeah,
with
I
that and make a
read
decent
into
living if
it.
you get picked up? I mean, that's how is that going to work for
I
the
don't know.
industry? That's what I'm curious
I
about.
looked into it a while ago. Obviously before they announced this new stuff this week. But when I
Plus, they've done
did,
this with short stories and novels too, right? So,
yeah, but I think those weren't getting published. They were just gonna be Kindle like featured stuff. But with the scripts, if I remember correctly, the way it works is you submit something. You do like a log line and maybe like a little synopsis or whatever. And people can read it and then they can write reviews based on whatever you wrote. So like a star system, like blah blah blah, and then if it gains traction, it can move on and move on and move on, and eventually, someone at Amazon, maybe not Jeff Bezos, but someone there, reads the damn thing and contacts you, but they haven't tapped anyone's screenplay yet. There hasn't been that news, so it's anyone's guess what kind of deal you would get if you would even get a deal to begin with. Like maybe it's like the whole have faith in the project type thing. Like you give it to them, they don't pay you any money, you get the credit, and then if it's good, then someone's gonna give you money. I don't know. Who knows? It's something they probably aren't gonna advertise until it happens. Got a couple of Netflix things here too. First off, Jason Momoa, Aquaman, Khal Drogo. I'm not gonna. I hesitate to call him Conan. He's going to star in Netflix drama directed by Brad Payton titled Frontier. It's about the fur trade of the 18th century. So, yay. I guess. I think it's only going to be like
sounds
6
interesting.
episodes. Yeah, like it could be good. It sounds like something that belongs on the History Channel
I mean, it's definitely a premise that
or
that gets
Discovery.
your attention. Yeah, we'll just see if it's good after that.
I mean, he has great screen presence, so unless the story sucks really bad, it should at least be, watchable or interesting.
Well, it doesn't, after all the character names that you mentioned, it doesn't sound like you would expect them to be in any of those things. So
Right?
I would imagine there would have to be a draw, or maybe he's just trying to do something completely different.
I still can't believe I saw Conan in 3D. Like, how'd they mess that up? You got Khal Drogo as Conan. That was like great casting. They just dropped the ball.
You got Marcus Nispel.
Like visually, it wasn't a bad movie, but it was like the in between of remake and reimagining.
I still, I don't know. I heard crazy things about it, so I still kind of want to see it. Like,
I mean, you have a 3D TV. I'd check it out. I remember some of the 3D stuff was okay.
well, I don't know how to get to it, but because I don't think I can rent it anywhere.
Yeah, they probably also didn't release it at home for 3D.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I heard it didn't look that great to begin with.
No, it wasn't. Unless I'm saying it wasn't bad. Like like I don't know. It was that time of 2011 when like everything had 3D sands
Yeah,
or smoke.
there were a bunch of shit 3D movies though around that time too.
Yeah,
Like those were the bad years of post conversion.
it was like that better than Clash of the Titans. Like
Oh yeah, no, like that's the worst.
that's like the worst thing
Liam
about that
Neeson's
too.
hair floating in
Like
front of your face.
the worst thing too is because I don't know if it's the way they advertise it, but you got Avatar. Who's the star of Avatar?
Sam Worthington.
Okay, who's the star
I
of
know,
Clash of the
3D
Titans?
poster child. I know.
Yeah,
I
so
know.
like you take Sam Worthington, and people are like, oh, I loved Avatar. Let's go see another 3D movie, and they were just like, this is 3D, and then everyone was like, oh, 3D sucks, and because they were, no one informs them. The news doesn't cover this kind of stuff about post conversion and the drawbacks of technology when it's
I
not
know, and the
filmed
bummer
to be
too
3D.
was that the real bummer was that it was forcing How to Train Your Dragon out of 3D screens because not every multiplex had a bunch of 3D equipment lying around, so they had to kick out whatever movie they had.
I saw.
So that was a
Did I
bummer.
see it in 3D? I don't remember if I did, but I saw Clash of the Titans at the front row of a movie theater opening night. Like, how much worse can you make an experience for a bad movie?
And I remember I worked at a movie theater when that movie came out, and we only had 35 millimeter prints of it. We didn't have a digital projector, and there were people that were pissed off that they couldn't go see it in 3D. Like this was around that time where it was still
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was very, that was like a special thing. You had to drive out to very specific theaters to see it, so they would be pissed and be like, "Why don't you have it? The TV said it was in 3D and da da da." First off, fuck those people. But yeah, a lot of people were angry. They would buy their ticket, they would take their seat, and then they would come to us and be like, "Oh, where are the 3D glasses?"
It was actually funny. I had the opposite reaction when I found out days at that AMC I worked at. I was like, it was like no one was there. I think it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday. And I'm like restocking candy in the lobby or something. And I just ripped this lady's ticket. She's going to see Pixels by herself. She was probably like 60, okay, late 50s. And really bizarre interaction. So she's like, "Is this movie in 3D?" And like I looked at her, I thought for a second, I was really sincere. I was like, "No, it's definitely on 3D. It's already been out, for 3 weeks, and they ceased showing it in 3D after that many days. They already got all their money for it." And she was like, "Okay, well, the advertising said that it was going to be in 3D, so can I get my glasses?" And then I was like, "Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it's not." So I grab our cheat sheet. I look at it. I show it to her. I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's not in 3D." She's like, "Well, can I get my glasses anyway?" I'm like, "No, see, that's not how that works." And it just like the only way I was just like, "Can you just go see your movie, please?" Like it got to a point like maybe she wanted to see it with someone. I don't know. It's funny.
Maybe she just, I don't know, wanted free glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sony. I got this message on my phone since I have a Sony phone. They're like, "You can get free movies," and one of the movies that they advertised was Pixels. So now, they're trying to get so many copies of Pixels out there that they're giving away for free.
God, they have to get rid. I mean, they didn't make any money off that whatsoever, huh?
No, yeah, it's still in the red on that one. Like I'm sure it'll make its money eventually from home entertainment. Like
Oh yeah, no,
maybe it
everything
could have broke
does.
even. I don't know by
I mean,
now.
everything makes money on home video, like at some point, DVD sales. It all comes back eventually.
Talking about coming back, last news item I got here: Netflix still, they're remaking Lost in Space, which I don't really have any emotions for. The only thing I got going for that is I saw the movie version in '98.
I actually remember really digging that, but I'm pretty sure I'd be embarrassed by that now. But
It's a kids movie, so
yeah, though it's Netflix and it's another old property that they're reviving, and it seems like
go
that's
team.
something that they're definitely being known for. So
Yeah,
I think every time that it's going to be brought up as news, I'm going to say the same thing and just be like, "Cool,
cool.
big shot."
So this week in reviews, what did you watch or listen to or
Um,
read? Or I'm guessing you're still reading Judd Apatow.
well, yeah, no, I got that, but I watched a lot of stuff actually
I like
because
to hear that.
yeah, well, more like rewatched actually. There were two
Never mind.
days where I did absolutely nothing but just watch movies on my iPad. Yeah, I got a drive that with just a bunch of backups of DVD and Blu-ray rips that I put together myself for when I travel. So let's see. I watched. There are just some things I do want to talk about. I mean, just going through the list, I watched Green Hornet, which I still
Okay.
fucking love. I saw Edward Scissorhands for the first time in years, which I know that for a lot of people, it was probably The Nightmare Before Christmas that really got them into that Tim Burton, love train. But I think that was really the one that pulled me in for that brief period where I was like, oh, Tim Burton's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. Because
Look at the way this town is painted. Look at how whimsical and suburban it is, and look how dark and abysmal this character is, and how they clash.
yeah, and it's just like, man, it's so deep. I mean, I really feel that Edward Scissorhands is his best film, though. Or if it's not his best, it's definitely my
Fish.
favorite. Like, yeah, I'll stick with Edward Scissorhands. I mean, that movie, it's still, maybe it's nostalgia, but it's still fucking left me wrecked. Probably, in the same way that E.T. did. Maybe it's the score. Just, you can't help but well up.
Was
when you
that
hear
his
it.
first collaboration with
Danny Elfman?
Yeah, Danny Elfman?
No, that was
Oh no,
Pee-wee.
Batman. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, not Pee-wee. I think that's the.
Oh yeah,
That's the
yeah,
first
yeah.
one that they did
Pee-wee
together, yeah.
and then Batman.
Yeah, but I mean, Edward Scissorhands still just a great adult fairy
Wait,
tale.
what
I mean,
year was Scissorhands? Was it like 87?
90.
90?
Yeah, it was in
the
between.
year after
It was
Batman.
yeah, right in between both movies. I saw the first Iron Man also for the first time in a while, which really crazy. Just
Also good
seeing
music. How far they've come.
just
That
how the
movie
MCU has
starts
changed.
so fucking fast. Like he's kidnapped in the first like 10 minutes,
Hmm.
and then he creates the suit in like the next 10.
Yeah, I really. It's funny just seeing how I feel like now it's more difficult to spot, the specific auteurisms in the
Uh-huh.
Marvel movies because it feels like they're being micromanaged and they're a bit more interchangeable.
I
But
mean, the
really,
MCU
it's
didn't exist back then.
yeah,
There's
it
no
was really
references
kicking
to anyone
off.
else. Like it is its own standalone movie for it's the only standalone movie Marvel movie there is. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's still a great movie though. Aside from the third act, it's got some pretty
yeah.
not too spectacular action,
It's
but
weird that like I know they didn't want to put Jebediah Slade as like
Obadiah's
Obadiah.
yeah.
I know they didn't want to make him a villain until like the second or third movie, because I guess he's the Ironmonger is like a much bigger character in the comic books, and it does make sense also in terms of like Stark Industries and having a villain like higher up than you or whatever. But yeah, that third act's pretty weird. It kind of reminded me of third act of Ang Lee's The Hulk.
I have not seen that yet. I
No,
don't think I
where
ever
you
will,
have like
but
this father figure, okay, who turns out to be the bad guy.
yeah, I mean, I don't feel the that emotional connection though when I'm watching Iron Man. It definitely it's there, but it doesn't really register that well, especially I don't know. Maybe it's just because probably Tony Stark just as a character, it's easy to enjoy spending time with
Douchebag.
him, but it's not one that you're necessarily emotionally invested in that much.
I was invested in the
Aside
third
from you
one,
don't, uh, yeah, yeah.
fairly.
I mean, well, that's at that point though, you have enough time to build up that character though,
Yeah,
and
plus
you,
an Avengers movie.
yeah, you
So
take everything in the past into account. But yeah, the first Iron Man's still great. Also, I did watch the original King Kong from 1933, which
I want to see that.
you've never seen it before.
No, it's actually funny you mentioned that. I was going through some old stuff in my house, and I have like a really really nice like collectible. I hesitate to say action figure because of its size, but I have a original King Kong action figure. Like it
Nice.
even has like a Fey Ray that fits in his mouth that you can like remove. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it quite a few times as a kid, and watching it now, it's even more obvious just how old-fashioned it is.
Uh
But
huh.
I still think it's great entertainment, honestly. Like, I was watching it pretty late at night. This was after seeing like five movies just back to back beforehand. I figured I would get tired at this point, but though it's stop motion, it's Harryhausen. It all looks
Hmm.
great and old-fashioned, but I think in context, some of the stuff that's violent, even if you can look at it and just call it out for being cheesy, I think it still works. That there's still an impact to it. I still found it fairly intense in its own way. So if you're not bothered by stuff like that, I absolutely think it still works really well as entertainment. And just even though the violence is tame, when you think about what's really how that would really play out, how King Kong would when he's chewing a human off the streets of Manhattan, how that would really look realistically. I don't know. It's just there's something about that image of just him like, even though a person's screaming to death in the most ridiculous, over the top way, it's still just kind of like, ooh, that's really gotta hurt. It just I don't know. I felt it was a little cringe inducing, but it's still a really fun movie. Land Before Time, Aladdin, great childhood
You're
classics.
like all over the place on this watch
Oh no
trip.
no 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 no! I got a lot of stuff. I did rewatch Revenge of the Sith also, which I'm not going to get into too much, but I still love that movie,
It
and
seems like
even
an early rewatch. I mean, you're still like a month
yeah,
away now.
even now, like I feel it's great. Like I really want to try to write a piece on it. I don't know if I'll have time. Maybe when I'm flying back home, I will, but I'm gonna try just because I was thinking of so much stuff of just like God, there's some criticism towards the prequels that I just feels like what? No, it's not necessarily fair. There's a lot more strengths here than people take into account. I watched Gravity because on my iPad because
Sounds
I had
horrible.
the UV digital copy, but actually the secret to enjoying that was I just watched it in the dark
But even
and had
still,
a
I
nice set
saw
of
it in
headphones and it worked.
no, I
It
saw
still
it
worked
in
great.
2D, and I thought it was pretty boring.
Well, I don't know. It's a bummer for you. I mean, I still was actually invested in, and I don't know. For me, I guess the key was Pure Blackness. Honestly, though,
Wait, it was a
watching
Tyler
it.
Perry movie? You
What?
said Pure Blackness. Never mind.
Oh, come on. That's it's a bad joke.
That was a
No,
good show.
no, but I mean, honestly, it's been 2 years since the release. I honestly feel like, not just because of technical, but also because of story. Like I feel like Gravity is, at least for the movies that have come out of this century, it's one of the greatest films of all time. Like I can confidently say that right now, just because it's, obviously it's a technical marvel, but as far as, just a story about, survival, and like it's just a great life affirming movie too. Like it really hits home for me. You might disagree, but
Kind of. Yeah.
you still need to see it in 3D, I think.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Close Encounters, aka Steven Spielberg's 2001, always a great watch. Spectacular Now, I love that movie. Revisit it from time to time. Stanley Kubrick's The Killing, which is one of his early films that I hadn't seen in forever, which it really is a great fucking heist movie. It's probably, the most fast-paced and kinetic film of his that he's ever made, because especially in his later years, he was known for making more slow, deliberately paced movies. But I think it's a great movie. You should definitely see it if you haven't
Yeah,
had
no,
a
that's
chance.
kind of like the bridge between his British black and white stuff and
Yeah.
going to Hollywood.
That's really what it's not his breakout film, but it's what really got it
It grabbed
put him on the
attention.
map. Yeah, it's what got him to do Paths of Glory, and then after that,
Spartacus.
yeah. But here's so two movies that I did see. I saw Monsters University,
Okay.
and then after that I took a while ago. You told me about how to get the free digital copy for Monsters Inc. So
Nice.
I
So
did that.
You did it back to back?
Yeah, although I did it in continuity, so it was Monsters University and Monsters Inc. And honestly, well, I think
Don't you
the
dare
difference.
say university's better right now.
I think the difference between the two in terms of quality is like night and day. You have one
Yeah.
movie that just has very rich, very well developed characters who have goals, that have aspirations, that really want something. A movie that's just very thematically strong. And then
you have a Revenge of the Nerds ripoff.
no, I was gonna say, and then you have Monsters Inc.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No fucking
Okay.
way, man.
All right.
Crazy.
All right. All right. Here's the thing about Monsters Inc. I think the world building is great. I think the setup is great. I like the idea of how that they find for the reason of why they scare kids. I mean, it's really cool. But
It's a monster
Those-
movie where a human's the monster.
those characters are just so paper thin. I mean, by Pixar standards, like I'd
You're
be
only
fine
supposed to care
calling.
about four
Yeah,
characters.
Here's the thing: I'd be fine calling Monsters Inc. Just a fun kids movie. That'd be okay. But it's Pixar, and it's held up to just such a high level. It's praised as one of the great animated films of all
Hell
time by
yeah.
so many people, you included. I think that's your favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
But it is just so fucking dull. Honestly, I mean,
It moves
know-
like it definitely has the greatest sense of adventure besides Finding Nemo of any
no.
Pixar movie.
God,
Like,
no.
it goes all over the world, literally. And if your complaint is that because along that journey they can't flesh out every character, then I'm okay with that criticism.
It's not that they
'Cause
can't flesh
Mike
out every character.
Wazowski,
They can't flesh
Scully,
out any of them.
Randall, and Boo is
Okay,
all you
the
need.
only-
Everyone else is extras. Like Cecilia don't
the
give a
only-
shit. Roz don't
the-
give a shit.
The only real arc that there is, the only person that really changes is just Sully, and that's only because at the end he realizes, oh, this kid is not that bad. Like, I mean, oh my god, that fucking ending is especially terrible because you
it
have
has
this moment
it has the musical. You have the DVD, right? I know you didn't watch you don't have it because you watched digital copy. There's a behind the scenes where it's rehearsals for put that thing back where it came from, or so help me
Mm-hmm.
on stage, and like that's one of the coolest special features I've ever seen. It's
know
only
what?
like 2 minutes long.
It's funny because theatrically I remembered that they had a blooper reel that would run through, and I was
Yeah.
waiting for the credits to keep going. I was like, wait, where is that? Why is that gone? So I don't know. I guess they took it out.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah,
weird.
it's on the special features though. It's one of them. It's like it shows the play in its entirety, but it's like real short.
That's fairly amusing, but honestly, I mean,
I just
there really
like,
aren't.
maybe I don't know. I disagree with
Yeah.
you, and like you said, I'm mostly internet disagrees with you here. I think that the world building and the concept overshadow the characters, but I don't think that's a problem given how fresh and interesting the concept is, especially for the target audience. You have, like kids are afraid of the dark. There's a monster in their closet. Ha! Monsters actually scared of kids. The reason that blah, 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 whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what makes it a fun kids movie. For
we
me, by that
stare because we
standard, if
care.
you want to call it that, then yeah, that's fine. But I mean, as far as characters, it really is weak. Like I mean, like I said, Sully's probably the only one with a real arc, and that's not really much of an arc. Like I really hate that ending that we're supposed to feel for this
I like the
emotional
ending.
goodbye, and
The
then
best part of the
it's just
ending is when
completely
Boo
it's
picks up
completely
a
negated 5 minutes later, and just ends with a cliffhanger shot. And I'm just there like, really? That's it?
when Boo picks up in that bedroom.
Don't get me started
She
on
picks
Boo
up
too. I
a
mean,
Jessie doll and a
uh-huh.
Nemo doll. That's awesome.
Jesus, we this is also, I can't stand this when you have a little girl in the movie that's not there as a character but is just there to pander to the audience and just be that that girl that is cute. I mean, Despicable Me does it, and I can't stand it honestly. But it's filled with a bunch of
Yeah,
scenes
she
of like
she
isn't
brings
it
humanity
funny?
to these monsters. What are you
But
talking
isn't it
about?
so funny that these monsters are afraid of a little girl? Oh, isn't that so cute?
Yeah,
Isn't that just no, God. I mean, you know what? One of my favorite moments in the movie, like
it's
that
not
I
my fault you're a
genuinely loved,
grouch.
was, hmm?
That's not my fault you're a grouch.
Hey, I'm sorry. It felt like it pandered to me. Honestly, one of my favorite moments though was when he goes to the garbage chute and just sees the different possible ways that she could be getting smashed to death, and he just keeps fainting every time. I honestly laughed, but mostly because I just found that girl to be so
I
annoying.
like when they're getting ready at the beginning of the movie after the first scare scene,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Do you have any odorant? Do you have wet? Yeah, I have wet
Eh.
dog and old. What is it like? Wet is wet dog and dirty laundry or something?"
I feel like Monsters University did a much better job with those puns, honestly.
So you're telling me that the prequel spin-off
Oh,
made better jokes off of the original premise
oh
of
yeah, I
the
mean,
first
not
one?
only did it have better characters. I mean, first off, characters that have goals that actually want something. Something that
Like get like
I
five
can
lines of
cling
dialogue?
to,
What are you talking about?
something that I can cling to and be invested. I'm talking about the main characters in Monsters
You're
University. I
talking
mean,
about Mike and Sully, who their goals are to be where they're at in the first movie.
well, here's the thing about
How
I
invested
think
could you be in an arc that's already been
what's great about
actualized?
what I love about Monsters University is that it is a prequel, but when I'm watching it, I completely forget that the other movie existed, even though I know where they're supposed to end up. It constantly surprised me at every turn. You start out, okay, they're both in scaring school, and okay, it's set up that, okay, they have to compete, and, if they got to do well by the end of the semester, otherwise they're out of the program. Oh, so that's what the movie's going to be about? Oh no, you cut to like 4 months later. No, that's not it. You got to set up a new premise. Now they got to get into scare games, and the stakes are
No, it's
higher. If they don't win, they get kicked out of school.
it's
Oh,
fucking
oh,
old school
yeah.
or Revenge of the Nerds or Van Wilder or Animal House. It's any four of those movies, all four of those movies rolled into one with the
And
Monsters
it
University
works out great,
backstory.
honestly.
I not for me. I'd
I mean,
rather having a college movie geared at kids doesn't really work for me. Like, I'm sure maybe if I rewatch it, I'd catch some dirty jokes in there, but why would you even make a college movie for kids to begin with?
I don't know. There's no reason why, but they did it, and it turned out to be really good. And honestly, I really loved it. I love especially the opening when they arrive on campus, and just the
Can't
way that the
remember.
college scene is presented. Especially just in registration day when you have to deal with the obnoxious school spirit and every word that they say rhymes with day. That stuff I thought was fun. I mean, honestly, though, it really does come down to that ending, which I don't want to. It seems like that's the excuse of why the movie's great. I don't think it's solely that. I think it all builds up to that, and by the time that you hit that point, it's all earned, and that's why it really hits close to home. And I really appreciate that message. It's not something that's just ballsy to show that to kids, but that's something that for those kids that are growing up with it, that's going to stick with them by the time that they're adults too. And I think that's what is so great about it. And also, just as a prequel, it's funny the little scene that you have with the Abominable Snowman, because I watched this one
I
first,
remember
and
that. Also, the
it was
Randall
funny.
scene was pretty good too.
Yeah, and it was funny to see how well this stuff all connects, except for one joke about them being in the fourth grade, which they've straight up dismissed it and made jokes of like, oh well, maybe in the monster world that's a reference to something else, and they ignored it for storytelling reasons mainly. It really Monsters University has no reason to exist, but I feel as the film it is far more stronger, and it just takes much more risks. And
I feel like
I got to
there's
say
like
though,
no risk to be had.
oh,
Like they seriously they use yeah, like you said, the first one has great world building. They use that
mhm.
world building and just went, what if we
The
showed
world
what it
building
was
has
like when they were learning how to scare?
Yeah, and even then, I love the world building within that university, how they work out the courses and the curriculum for just the little details of how to make that world function. It really adds to it. It's funny that it's a prequel because it does what every good sequel should do, which is expand on world and expand on character,
I
but
think
instead it
that
ends up being a
I think that
prequel.
movie is about as lazy as Pixar gets, along with
Oh wow,
Cars 2.
no, God no,
Those
no,
two
it is
films are
far
like the
stronger
same
than
side of the coin.
it's far stronger than Cars 2.
It's like,
Come
let's
on, are you
take
kidding me?
these characters in this world and then make a
You get
genre movie within it.
you know far more about it. Is so much easier to relate to these characters in Monsters University than it is in Monsters Inc.
Because it
Like
doesn't go
easily.
off the deep end. It's not, going into fucking spy territory, but it's still it's like the same kind of cash grab.
Oh yeah, no, I mean on a business end, yeah, but on an artistic level, like I really appreciate what they were able to do with it. It doesn't need to exist at all, but it came together beautifully, I thought, and I had a good time with it. But I will say this: Monsters Inc. Between the two, that sequence with the doors, where
Which is
just
still like one
the
of the
entire
hardest
climax
to
of the movie.
animate moments in like
I will say
CGI
that
history.
it is fucking amazing. That climax
There's
for
like
Monsters Inc.
what
That's
like
it.
I think at one point there's seriously like 400 or 500 doors on screen at the same time.
I mean, it is crazy. Like, I really wish I saw it released in 3D just for that sequence alone. But
Plus,
because
like
I imagine it
all
would be
those
insane.
gags with the doors in that sequence
Yeah,
also. Like
no,
it's
and
like Tahiti. There's that Parisian shot.
I love that they
Uh,
show up at the trailer park in A Bug's Life.
yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Just one more thing I don't think I mentioned this, but Randall's plan in Monsters Inc., where they're gonna just
Well, it's not
suck the
it's not
scream out of
Randall's plan,
kids.
but yeah.
They're gonna suffocate kids by sucking out their.
Well, they were
I'm,
gonna
I'm
they were
sorry,
gonna
this is a kids
they were
movie?
gonna
How fucked
draw
up
the
is
screen.
that?
It's a that Randall's a scary character, man.
I don't know. After Monsters University, not really, but
But that's a
that's part
prequel.
of the joke. But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, he's scary, but I don't know. His goal's
It's fucking
pretty.
Steve Buscemi in a kids movie.
Yeah, but it's a lame goal. Like again, I'd be fine with if it's just a simple kids film, but
I
it's
mean
praised
I
as
mean
being
that's
so much
how
more
he
than that.
number one, like I said, that's not exactly his goal. It's someone else, and he's a puppet.
Uh
But
huh.
his goal is to be the top scare.
But do you realize how fucked up that is? It's a kids movie where the plan
So
is to suffocate kids like basically to death. I mean, even if they don't mention that, they would probably die doing that
the
when they have
opening premise of
what
the
is it when
movie is
fungus
that
just shows up out of like
the
what the
opening
hell was that?
the opening premise of the movie where the stakes are initially at is that it's a group of monsters that scare kids to make a living. So I mean that's already pretty
I
dark.
think that kind of took it a bit too far. I mean, when it comes to Monsters Inc. and I don't know if I think about it now, I think it might be a Pete Docter thing. Maybe I just don't respond well to the movies he's made. It's always just few sparks of brilliance in there and something that just doesn't necessarily come together that well. I mean, even with Up, which I really enjoy,
I
but
don't.
I mean, well, it's a good movie, but it's 10 opening minutes that are brilliant, and then
My
the rest doesn't necessarily fit
Yeah, like
well
I
with it.
remember everyone when that movie came out because I was late to the party. I didn't see it for like until it came to home video. I don't believe. But everyone, all they could ever fucking say about that film was how emotional. Like they were like, the first 10 minutes of Up makes you feel more things than most movies that make you feel it at all. I was like, okay,
I
you
feel
watch
that's
it.
true for
It
that
is
specifically.
true.
Yeah,
The problem is that the rest of the movie doesn't make you feel much.
yeah. I mean, it's weird. Like
It's such a
It's the same
weird
thing
Pixar
with.
movie. There's like a handful of the things that I really like about it. I like the dog. I like Russell. And the dodo. Okay, that's it. I don't like the story. I think it's fucking stupid. Like the house flying. Like I remember one of my main criticisms. I was talking to someone right after I saw it. I was like, I think the reason why I don't like this movie is because it's the first Pixar movie that could have easily been made in live action. The premise alone, like it is an action. Like there's an urban legend about someone that like had a lawn chair and put weather balloons on it. Like it actually happened. I saw it on TV. Um, like it actually happened. Like whatever. So anything else you watched?
Yeah, actually. Just one more thing. And this is kind of a special, I guess, early review, kind of. Because
You saw Jessica Jones, right?
no, not yet. I kind of got an early sneak peek at one of the best animated films of the year. And you are not going to be able to see it in the States until March of next year.
Little Prince.
Yeah, which came out over the past summer actually, and I didn't know that. And
Weird.
yeah, it's
That good?
interesting though because it's actually making its way around the rest of the world right now for the holiday season. So the United States is going to be the last to get
That
it,
makes sense,
which
especially since it's not that big of a book here. It is more
yeah,
of an international thing.
it is interesting though because I guess it is also an American production. It's from the director of Kung Fu Panda, so
Did we
I
talk
don't know.
about this last week? Who? It's not DreamWorks. It's Paramount, right?
Uh, they're distributing it. I don't think they're the production company that's behind making it though.
I'm assuming you saw it in French.
Yeah, yeah. Which still shouldn't have anything to do with it. And, it fits very well with the source material, given that it
It is
is
a French
originally
story.
French. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it will. Especially with the little opening. I don't want to say it's prologue, but there's just a little opening sequence where I just feel like it doesn't feel like something that's distinctly American to me. But anyway, yeah, the movie itself, it really is really good. I guess I got to come down on it like just a little bit. Like my problem with it is it feels like almost three different movies that are just kind of piled into one, and they don't necessarily all fit well together.
Hmm.
Like you have the story of the Little Prince, which is basically the story within the story, and then you have the framing story, which is where this little girl is hearing the story for the first time. And the styles of animation are different. You got CG and stop motion in there, and the stuff for the book itself is in stop motion, and it's really, really fucking great. All that stuff, and it really. I guess the thing is, my problem with it is that it all the CG animation stuff it does a better job of complementing the original source material rather than working well alongside it. Like it's been bugging me how to compare this, but like would you agree that, for something like Cloud Atlas, that's six different stories happening all at once, right?
Yeah.
But the way that's edited, it all
Yeah, they
fits
complement
together
really
as
well.
one piece. Yeah, and watching this, it was kind of like it's kind of like having the channel just be changed from time to time as you go back from one to
Uh,
another. I mean,
I was gonna
but
say, like, did it
it's
remind
like,
you
but
of
they
the Grand Budapest? The way that was the story within a story within a story, and
I
they
I guess in a
differentiated them by
way,
the aspect ratio.
I guess in a way, yeah. Except though these were major storylines that I was able to invest in, and they all worked great on their own. And then when you get to the third act, it feels like a whole different movie because it's basically one long daydream sequence, and it was fucking awesome. But I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm coming too hard on the movie because I
Uh-huh.
really, really enjoyed it, and it really did hit close to home. But there's just some things in there that like kept me. I really wanted to love it. Like I should be coming away from it and telling you like it's
So
great. And
great!
there's
You're gonna see it
plenty.
in 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff in there that is enough to say like this is probably one of the best animated films of the year, if not the best one.
Better
Because
than Shaun the Sheep.
maybe actually, I mean, Shaun the Sheep is more fun. I think there's a lot more to take away from the Little Prince. But I mean, my criticisms, if honestly, like I feel like that might, if they were resolved, then it might negate what the entire message of the movie is. So
Hmm.
I don't know. It may not necessarily be a problem with the movie, but just my experience of watching it. But when you get to watch it in the next couple months, I don't know how English language version is going to play out, but from what I saw, it was really good. It was better than most of the animated movies that
We'll see.
have come out this
I'm not
year.
really anticipating it. It might be a shocker to you. I've never read the source material.
Oh no, you don't have to. It's
No,
a great
I'm
movie,
just saying it's not something I
honestly.
grew up with, so I know that it's supposed to be like visually scrumptious or whatever. But I'm not, come March, I'm looking forward to one movie and one movie only. So
You know what?
get in line,
You know
Little
what?
Prince.
Just one more thing. This movie has the most badass stuffed animal you will ever see.
I don't know.
I'll just say that, and if you see it, I'm pretty sure that you will agree.
Okay. So
We might be talking about that in the future.
I watched a couple things this week. Like I said, I fell asleep on THX, so that's not included. But I saw a couple documentaries. I saw Winnebago Man. I believe that was Tuesday night, which was pretty interesting. I don't think I'd ever seen the actual viral video. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? You've heard of this doc?
Yeah.
Yeah, the angriest man in the world. You like clip that was like one of the first things on YouTube. Or just some guy like outtakes for a Winnebago infomercial, or not even infomercial, but like corporate video to help sell them. A pretty interesting documentary. Not exactly, pretty close to what I thought it was gonna be, but not exactly my cup of tea. You had to really be intrigued or be a fan of the source material to really care for what was going on. Pretty by the numbers, pretty interesting, and like just I'm a fan of documentaries where the one of the main characters is the documentarian themselves, which is the best way to explain the other one I saw Sarah Polley's Stories We Tell, which was just like riveting. It was 2 hours long. It's a documentary, but it does things that documentaries usually don't. I don't want to say too much and give anything away
Yeah.
here, but definitely would buy it for $1. Really interesting. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Epix.
I still need to get to it.
You
Like
need
I've heard.
you
Yeah.
need to see it. Like it does some things with just the documentary format, because the story it chronicles, like the what it's documenting is like it uses the medium to its utmost extent. Like it's one of those things that can only be really conveyed in this way. It's like you could read the story on paper or watch like a conventional documentary, I guess, but the fact that it's so personal to the filmmaker, it really is a special part of cinema, and you should check it out. Probably the best documentary. Maybe not the best, but definitely the most interesting documentary I've seen in a very long time. Like even when it started slowing down, like the places it was going, and just its creation, the way it was created, just really really interesting. I also watched some streaming titles, or the streaming title this week anyway. Jessica Jones. I've already finished it. I
Yeah.
finished it
Okay. So you're way
about
ahead.
19 hours ago. Like, I finished it early Saturday. Watched the shit out of it. I did the same thing to Daredevil. I think I finished that in like 2 days. Very different from Daredevil. Like the only connection is that it's in Hell City. It's part of the MCU, and that it's also dark. But really, really interesting. I knew very little about the character besides like plot synopsis online. Interesting. More world building in this than Daredevil does. Just an interesting story. Like, everyone likes to complain about there not being any female like superhero movies out there. This is really the argument for why there needs to be one. Because, I mean, yeah, Gal Gadot just posted the first image on set for Wonder Woman a couple of days ago, but that's very different from what this is. This is about a superhero that's hung her cape up to become a private eye who's dealing with PTSD. And like it really lives up to that private eye stuff. Like it's very noir. Like
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
the score going on, how dark it is. Like there's nothing vibrant about this show at all. Like not even like sometimes in flashbacks, but it's very like not morbid, but just looking at it, it doesn't make you feel happy. Like it's a very dark show. Like the way it's shot. the characters, the themes that are going on here. They go a lot deeper into Marvel Universe stuff here than they did in Daredevil. Daredevil's really just, it's about this guy that's trying to become a superhero. You got the origin story. You got like his outfit expanding, like some of his like life, what's going on, that kind of stuff. Like a lot of like very by the numbers, kind of what you're thinking of with the movie, just better. Whereas this, it seems more at home with being on Netflix. Like it does definitely lends itself to being binged easier. And like I said, it expands like probably one of the coolest things. Like there is actual villains in this, as opposed to Daredevil, which is just Kingpin,
Kilgrave.
Yeah, well, there's Kilgrave, but then there's also someone else that's
I gotta say though,
definitely have a role in the other Netflix shows they do.
Well, here's the thing. I saw the first 2 episodes, first of all,
Okay.
because I was at a party, and so I was kind of
Seems like the wrong place to watch the show. That's for sure.
yeah, no, that's why I was sort of paying attention. Well, I was definitely paying attention, but I did have a lot of distractions around me. But
yeah, that first episode really sets up the tone of the show. Like,
yeah, and I will say after that second
dark.
episode, though, just that introduction of Kilgrave, going to see that family, like I want to continue it.
Oh, definitely
honestly.
check it out.
Yeah.
It's a solid 13 episodes. I think it's better put together than Daredevil was, because the thing about Daredevil is that it had peaks and valleys. So most people talk about the fourth episode with the hallway scene, which is very reminiscent of the hammer scene from Old Boy. Like it definitely has that. Yeah, camera-wise, Daredevil's a lot better. But, like, there's episodes that stand out on Daredevil. Like, the fourth one, I think it's the fifth one when, what's his name? The bad guy from Backdraft makes an appearance. There's certain episodes where you're like, oh, you gotta see that one, Whereas with Jessica Jones, it's, like, consistent every episode, procedural drama stuff. You're like, whoa, what's gonna happen next? Who's introduced this time? Like, it's still PG-16, as you know, like you saw it. Like, it's not R-rated, but it's past PG-13. Like, there's a sex scene that seems more at home on Cinemax than,
and that's really
theaters.
That's about it. Like, I've yet to see anything that's really.
Well, I mean, you saw the
gruesome.
first episode. You know how it ends. That's pretty fucking dark.
Oh, yeah, in context, yeah, but it's not like there's really that much violence on screen.
No, like there's
it's
not.
It's really about what happens off
screen.
screen.
Yeah, there's not really much violence. There is, but there's not a lot of violence on the show. There's not a lot of language. There's some sexual content, but not really. It's just it's the concept. I mean, it's the scary idea of someone being out there that they can say anything and you have to oblige, which is the concept of Preacher as well. That is, I mean, it's not on the trailer, but that is what Jesse Custer gets. Except it's more pronounced. He gets the word of God. They make a reference. I'm pretty sure it's a reference. We talked about this before on Preacher, where he it's probably going to be the first season. It's going to be towards the end of the first season. He tells a sheriff to go fuck himself, and then he dies because he was trying to force his dick in his ass. And so Kilgrave makes this joke on one episode. He's like, I literally told someone to go screw themselves. You wouldn't believe my shock on that one. So I thought that was a joke, but like it's a very, very dark show, just like Daredevil. Except Daredevil, like, it has some jokes along the way. But what's funny here is that, like, Kristen Ritter, and almost all the stuff that I've seen her in prior to this, she's almost always cast as a very bubbly personality. So I was talking about, like, rewatching the Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23 last week. Her on that and her in this is, like, worlds apart. Like,
Yeah,
even
honestly,
just the
like,
way they look, like, with her having her hair done and the makeup and wearing couture and all that stuff. Or on this, it's like she wears the same pair of jeans every episode. No, she was good. There's some stuff on this show that isn't advertised, and that's a good thing. That will definitely catch viewers by surprise. Just, like, not necessarily world building, because, this is a world that we've been dealing with. Like, we were talking about Iron Man earlier, so we've had this world since 2008. But just...
let me ask you this, though, just because I'm not, aside from, like, little references, I'm not seeing the point of, like, a shared universe anymore.
Well,
other than
the
just,
idea
like, throwing in
is
sly references.
It does it the same way that Daredevil does it. I think that's the idea until the Defenders happens, where, and this is to a lesser extent true about Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. it's that these characters are living out their lives in this world. And so like the reference on Daredevil and Jessica Jones, it's like the main reference is that at one point in the not too distant past, New York was attacked by aliens. Like they just call it the incident, or they call it the Avengers, or they make like a little quip about the green guy and his friends. And so like the way that Kevin Feige like kind of explains the MCU shows on Netflix is that like Iron Man and the Hulk and Thor, they've had adventures in New York City. But they're not on the street level dealing with things in neighborhoods, and that's where this takes place. Like Daredevil is in Hell's Kitchen's protector. It's not about the world and they're having a fight in New York. This is literally about the neighborhood.
So it's focused on that area.
Yeah, but like
And yeah, they're introducing Luke Cage into it.
yeah. So they're they have potential to branch out into the stuff that the MCU is doing, like at the gates. Like these Defender characters could make an appearance in Infinity War. That's not coming out for a couple years now. It depends on fan reaction. They've already said like they could get movies, but it's not supposed to have references nonstop. Like Agent of Shield isn't that way. The couple episodes I saw, like I watched the first 7 episodes when they aired, and I stopped because I lost interest because of its tone. Like very like that one is what I think people are more prepared for, that ABC show geared for family members and being really kid friendly and lighthearted, whereas this like hits you like a ton of bricks.
Which makes it really hard to imagine some like this making an appearance in the Infinity Wars, MCU.
Well, I mean that movie's gonna be pretty dark. It's about some dude trying to destroy like not just the planet, but like parts of the universe. So.
I'm sure it'll be dark, but there's still, Age of Ultron was fairly dark, and yet still managed to keep that balance of being playful at the same time that it was acceptable enough for.
I mean, that was Joss Whedon.
Kids.
Who knows what they're gonna do without him?
Yeah, I mean, they cut off Andy Serkis's arm, dude. So.
Well, I know that's gonna be important for Black Panther because that villain doesn't have an arm. But there was like I must have referenced this or talked about it on our show, like right when Age of Ultron came out, but Kevin Feige let it slip that in every MCU movie, someone loses an arm as like a tip of the hat to Empire Strikes Back. And
that is true.
I looked at the list and I was like, that is true. Or like if it's not an arm, it's like something happens to their finger or something like that. But it's usually an arm. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's trippy. Like, you can go online and find a list.
I mean, that seems to be the one that really sticks out, though, is Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
That's the funniest one, honestly. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
So,
it can grow back, right?
So, yeah, I watched all of Jessica Jones, and I hope you do, too. Really looking forward to the Luke Cage show that's going to happen. Who knows when. It's probably going to come out around, like, April. And then they still haven't even...
It's being shot right now, isn't it?
Yeah, and they still haven't even... And they're also shooting Daredevil Season 2, or they've already completed that. They haven't announced who's going to be Iron Fist yet, so who knows when that show's happening. Probably the later end of next year, with the Defenders being whenever that happens. But like they start setting that up a little bit in this show. The final episode, someone from Daredevil... It plays a very important role throughout the episode and kind of like hints at a team up in the near future. The other show I watched, I saw the pilot for Man in the High Castle on Amazon last night. So, that and Jessica Jones both went streaming the same day on Friday. Even though the pilot for that has been online. It's
been out for like a year.
Yeah. Really fucking good. Like I don't know.
So?
Like I have to see another episode to see where the characters are going, but just the way it looks, like a lot of it's shot on green screen. Like it almost has a Sin City look to it in certain ways, especially on the street. Like there's a section that happens like in Times Square type looking place, and then there's also like this Nazi embassy. And you just have like this swastika on the wall with hard light coming through it, and it has a very good like Sin City camera setup for it. I don't know. I have to see another episode.
I saw it last year, and that's kind of what I didn't like about it, was that it seems so hyper stylized.
I did though. I thought it was cool.
I mean,
for the world it's taking place in.
Yeah, for that world, for an alternate post World War II.
Yeah.
scenario, like I don't know, I think for me, I would have liked to see something a bit more grounded into what the reality of that would be. And there are moments in there in that pilot that I really liked. But when he's being pulled over by that cop and
Yeah,
there's the smoke coming up, he's like,
yeah.
"Yeah, what's that? Oh, they're probably
It's
just burning
Tuesday
it."
at the hospital.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh shit,
It's
like
like, well, they would do
yeah,
that, wouldn't
that
they?
would, and they would just talk about it casually too. Like, oh, that's so fucked up. I mean, there's ideas in there that I liked, but just the pilot, it didn't really sell me on it. Especially and I don't know God, what was it? I haven't seen it in like a year, but just the twist ending of that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
why, like,
I
I
don't know.
saw that, like, once I got to the end of the episode, I was like, well, I kind of want to watch another episode right now,
Yeah,
but
it's
then
like
I
they're
was
not.
like, I kind of want to go to sleep, too.
Yeah, they're not that well developed yet. If I kept sticking with it, then it could get more interesting. I don't know, but I don't know, it just didn't really click with me. I felt like that was just a really irritating fake out.
I'll see. I saw one other thing last night, too. I watched an episode of Shaun the Sheep.
Yeah, and
Yeah. So the way it works is there's like, or maybe it's different per episode, but there's like three segments. The show's like, 24 minutes or whatever. And so there's like three shorts in there. Um, I hope it doesn't continue throughout the other episodes if I keep watching, but a lot of the little gags or like story was part of the movie. So like the sheep getting into the house and having a party and all that, like that was
hmm
one of the skits. One of them that I actually liked was really funny. It was like every day when the farmer is driving, a head of lettuce falls off the truck, and then they play soccer with it. And then, and then the third one was what was it? It was oh, it was like the farmer was watching a horror movie, and then like it was like a horror episode. Like it was pretty funny. It was like a sheep, like when the kid one, like he felt like he was eating pizza, so there's like pasta sauce all over his face, and then like the lights like flashed really fast, and then they saw him, they thought he was a ghost.
And I mean, it sounds like one of those shows that might just be fun when you're in the mood for like easy entertainment. You
Yeah.
don't have to follow something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
I
like,
mean, yeah,
yeah.
it's just like the movie. There's no dialogue.
I want to laugh at something.
Yeah, it's
for a
essentially
quick
silent,
second,
like
yeah.
really quick paced, funny little gags. Like it's surprising that they got like that show on TV. Like the budget must have been crazy.
I mean, how many episodes did they have a season?
I don't
Two?
know.
That's what
I don't know.
yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like each episode, it's like two or three little skits thrown together.
Well, then how many sets do they probably have?
It
I'm
looks
sure,
like a
as
lot.
you
Like
kept going, it
it
wouldn't.
looks like it's just the farm, but yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it expands because I think that's the idea of the movie. Like what differentiates the movie from the show is that it's about the sheep.
the scale gets
Yeah, how
up, and
them.
yeah,
It's the babe thing. It's like what about when they're in the city?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, like even still though, like the farm, it like when they show like its full extent, you're like that's a really big set. Like that's just sitting in some studio right now. Wow. But yeah, that's all I got. So
There's a lot of stuff this week.
a good amount of stuff. So
Yeah,
we didn't. We would normally be recording THX 1138 right now. That was our
you
choice.
still got to watch it.
Yes, I do have to watch it. So bear with us. It might be a day or two late. So
Oh, it's usually they go up on Wednesdays.
yeah, so it might be Wednesday.
it'll be on time.
Yeah, it might be Wednesday or Thursday. But thanks for listening. We know it's been about 2 hours here, so if you'd like to give us any feedback, that'd really be appreciated. You can find us online at dollarviewspodcast.wordpress.com. That's our hub. You can also search for us on iTunes, Sound, Pocket Cast. It's gonna be on Google Play Music Store soon. It's all over the place. Tune in. Be sure to send us an email if you want to reach us the old-fashioned way, dollar.reviews@gmail.com, in addition to Twitter and Facebook, which is dollar reviews. So until next time, thanks for listening. Have a good one.